Waraseri Kamal say, according to Section 39 of the Criminal Procedure Act 1965, the court na free to not get the power for trying 13 accused people here. As he say, na Makeni they allege say, them people here cause this problem. We immediately apply for bail for the 13 accused people them. Waraseri Kamal carry on say, they don't go against them 13 accused people here the human rights. As he say, they don't then a police custody for 30 days. But the magistrate no mean agree for giving people here bail. But later, Waraseri Kamal bin asked Magistrate Magegba for make a give order to the correctional center for make them begin treat the 3 accused people them because he say them sick. For sake of that, Magistrate Magegba begin order to the correctional center for make them 3 people here get medical attention. The lawyer for the state, na lawyer YICC, and the defense team lawyer them, na Waraseri Kamal, A. Kroma, B.S. Kamara, T. Conte, SCC, and K. Kanu, and Magistrate Magegba don't adjourn this case to August 21 this year, with support from Mange Mansare for the Society for Radio Democracy. Mina Usman Kamara, the report.
The program they continue. They come over again to Solomon Jamiru from NACOVAC, where they give updates on how far Salon they pan the fight against the coronavirus. The frontline workers them pan this fight. Now the number one, the people them they don't see people for clap for them because of the sacrifice them what they make for ensure say people them way sick recover from the virus. Mr. Jamiru, how serious on take the frontline workers them in this fight where we still get concern of outstanding payments?
I think say one of the things we always don't talk about that if we talk about coronavirus now a public health emergency, we mean say the people are within at the healthcare workforce very important in this fight. I know say payment has been one of the areas where we don't get a lot of concerns, and as President be saying in a statement in June, we acknowledge say there has been some challenges, but they're not surmountable challenges. And I think so we don't see substantial difference when it comes to incentive payment. If anybody there will get concerned, if there is any concern in any district about payment, I think so we can attribute them perhaps to some kind of verifications where they on. But largely, we find out say a lot of them concerns will be there about payments, then really don't dissipate. Yes, you might have isolated cases, but I think it's an issue them where NACOVAC they look into on a daily basis. We get a fiduciary management team, NACOVAC. We get the audit service, we also deployed NACOVAC. So NACOVAC not get any intention for hold unduly to anybody in payment. And I think say, if there is any legitimate concern by anybody about payment, this is nothing with the finance team at NACOVAC will look into and address them accordingly.
Okay, I'm talking about the health workers
Their test results proved negative, and we say thank God for that. I just want to say a few things. I get confirmation also now from the technical pillar lead, NACOVAC, Brigadier Fodesa, say the Makeni lab will be activated next week. And I just get update again from quarantine. I think there are about 6 students where they sit Beke within our quarantine homes, and about 12 or 13 for WASC where they sit. And I just also get confirmation from the technical pillar lead on anybody will be infected with a sit WASC. Remember, I'll be aware of 1 case.
Yeah.
So if you get 2 cases, one na ADRA and one na 34, they all be done prove negative, and then they sit the exams now. So I think this is a blessing for parents them. This is a big relief to them.
Now the isolation center in the seat or in the Guna examination hall.
No, they don't discharge them. Yeah. So one be the ADRA, one be the 34.
The issue of normalcy, you say you know one follow we refer to, we going back to normalcy at this point. But looking at the reality, airports don't open, schools then they can't open. Church and mosques then don't resume back. People they go back to their workplaces like how they been used for do before. Waiting at the reality, are we just wait for the WHO announce, or we just want for keep to protocol at this time? Because the cases they don't drop. Yesterday, na 3 confirmed cases we get as a country. So waiting at the reality. Now the announcements we wait for, or we are moving back to normals.
The reality now that things relatively stable, but you might get a spike anytime if the wrong things happen, if people are not take the IPC measures in place. The reality na the sub-region, maybe na that Salone record 3 cases, Liberia record 20, Guinea record 138, Cote d'Ivoire record 81. So even in the sub-region, if you look at Salone and we neighbors, we still continue for record cases. Yes, we relax the measures, but if you use the word normal, it gets an obvious implication. So I want to say yes, we relax the measures because naturally we got to make sure we get this balance between saving lives and getting lives for move on. But I think this fact still there with we still continue for the record infection. Even if you record one infection, I think that one infection capable of creating
normalcy.
Well, we hope that period they go. I think we have to take this fight as it is, that we still get a dangerous enemy around, and we do the 3 important things them for keep we safe and keep we loved ones then safe.
So in terms of social distancing, I want to take 98.1 as an example or scenario for this morning. How you go describe the studio setup and how we practice social distancing?
I always tempted work at 98.1 for remove me face mask.
Now that's make I ask you the question because we studio set up in a way somebody will sometimes they watch na Facebook, you know they able for touch the next person, and on a social distancing now that if for be you know for able for touch the next person. So is it safe where we dey so we like stop for use the mask because we dey inside us and we dey practice social distancing, we know they touch each other. Is it safe?
I think we'll go talk down the offline because if I say down the publicly, maybe we know society, it gets an interpretation. So actually we'll talk down the offline.
Okay. All right, so Manjari, we'll just look at a few messages so people don't send at the program this morning as to questions and concerns them where they get towards issues them where we discuss at the program. Good morning, Mr. Musa.
This one says, Mr. Jamiru, some frontline workers have still not been paid. Why is that?
This other message say, please be realistic, Mr. Jamiru. The number of cases in Sierra Leone has dropped drastically, so we are just waiting for the World Health Organization to announce the end of Corona.
This one from me, they say government is asking.
This other message we'll go look at this time. The person say, Mr. Jamiru, what is your advice for people that are refusing to use the mask around the country? Come out from Kalamu.
This one from me, the last one for now, they say, Mr. Jamiru, how effective is the curfew order now in the fight against COVID-19?
Well, still on the curfew order, this other person say, Mr. Jamiru, in as much as we are not using the word normalcy, but yes, we are lifting some bans. Why are we still having the curfew, which is still at 11? The final one I go look at before we come to Mr. Jamiru for response to the message, the person they say, please Radio D. One of the nurses working at the treatment center, it has been 3 months now without allowance. Ask Sabi Talkman if in nobody's. All right, well, have said they ask. They say in Julius, they ask if you are aware. Say nurse then the way they work, we not get the allowance for 3 months now. And you go respond to the other message.
Yes, for this specific one, where they talk about nurses who don't work for 3 months now. If you're able for contact NACOVAC, me particularly go get interest in this. If I know about them, I should say I go raise them with the one that we're concerned. But at this point, I not get specific information on that one day. For the one way they say why for pay for tests, I think I don't talk about that. They say this is a very separate and special arrangement. We require enormous logistical and financial implications. We therefore plan for this one specifically, and we also want to make sure we sustain this arrangement and will not run out of test kits. So we need funds also for do that. Maybe I just get this piece of information for we fumble them. Say, well, the talk say NACOVAC go look into people request for exemption from payment on a case-by-case basis. We get students for China with the exempt for pay. And I also remember say with Ministry of Foreign Affairs we facilitate the evacuation of Sierra Leoneans from Senegal. So the one then they also will be take a decision for exempt them for pay.
So this is not just a case situation, but na standard now na NACOVAC for exempt students and repatriatees?
It don't happen in this case. It might pretty much be the case. As I say, you not get an exhaustive list for exemptions. You get for wait first for let the case occur, and then you go take a decision whether this person for be exempted.
Okay.
So generally, we will continue for look into them, and as long as you fall under exceptional circumstances, we can look at them. Why we still get curfew? Yes, curfew has been adjusted. We think we still need the curfew for make we able for successfully fight COVID. We all they look forward to the lifting of this curfew. Where that time they reach, I sure say then go advise we.
Quickly, the curfew is effective at all?
Yes, it's effective because I don't go out at night unless it is extremely necessary. And people they will don't reach out to me a lot. Say they want passes for the curfew, and we ask them why you need pass for curfew. And we see and the people that are within our operations then take very strong action not for the give curfew authorized passes unless it's necessary.
So let me take a scenario of the churches and mosques them compared to the bars them. And if weekends, if you go to the beach area, it's like people just live their normal life, no practicing of the social distance and other things when they ask people and for do, but when they send strong message, especially for places of worship, for ensure they stick to the rules them and let people continue for practice. The thing they want to be done tell them for practice, where they said we don't agree on why on they send the same message strongly as when they send them to places of worship, to, for example, entertainment centers.
Recently, we get an integrated team where we go engage, for example, people in our beach bars where they do operations in a beach bar. And I think the decision was reached for make them go and close one or two bars where they know say they're known for violation of the enhanced measures. I believe say that decision would have been taken. I should say places there like Papa Clef and other places, and we go engage them on this. And I think it's a very strong decision and action has been taken. So we'll see how we'll
but
continue
apart from the
roll
Papa
out
Clef you
on
make
this.
mention of, when I aware say weekends you drive along the beach, it just sound like people they live normal life.
I go take this opportunity for drive day this weekend and see maybe.
Okay, so the when you talk about curfew, the question we don't they come to people or what thing they don't they ask now how effective and whose role in the play in the fight against COVID-19?
Well, you know, go divorce this public health thing from general security as well, and we know say some evidence be also done when we look back to Ebola, we get evidence say there be the transport cases also during the night. I think say some of them thinking also they influence this one, and a lot of people in elect for move, especially late night, you know, and if you allow people for they in clusters late night, it could also be a potential breeding ground for further infections. So for able for curtail all of that, and that make we get this curfew, and we're looking forward to it being lifted. We all, but until we create the necessary conditions, we can able for encourage government for lift time. I think it has to stay as it is.
Initially, you start for talk about preparation. We start with preparation. We come to response. Who we dey in now. Then can say anything we get beginning, get ending. In as much as we don't begin preparation, we didn't have the response now. Somebody going to talk about the recovery. From your estimation or from as analysis, is it possible we'll go into recovery anytime soon?
We hope so. Now we expectation. Because you know go divorce this public health emergency from other important facets of our lives. So for example, you go to call the Quick Action Economic Recovery Program, where the Ministry of Finance be done roll out. If you look back into let's go into economics small. Evidence they say with GDP be done recover strongly at 5.4% in 2019. It was projected to grow at 4.2%, but now you don't contract. So you needed then quick interventions and safety nets for do this. So economically, yes, some interventions they take place. From a public health perspective, I think that's the fact that we don't get cases don't reduce considerably. Now encouraging sign to we. So I think what's important now for me to continue for build up, deepen the use of face mask, deepen the hand washing, deepen the social distancing. And let's see, with our kids now in school, I think we all want to see what's in the happen in the course of these exams and also tertiary institutions and see, are we going to have a spike in cases? Or are we going to maintain this? If we're able to maintain this and sustain this momentum, I shall say after this phase, and with the surge that we are rolling out, an important phase of the surge, we want to see if when we expand the test, we'll be able to get more infections. If not, then I think we'll begin for draw conclusions now as to Usai.
Okay, preparedness na ever ending circle in the fight as it is, because if you prepare for receive the virus, you get for prepare for make it go good again. What na the preparation in the recovery stage?
In the recovery, for me, rather than talk much about recovery, I want to talk about health and strengthening. Because even when you look at Ebola, you ask yourself the question, after Ebola and the massive funds we will generate locally and internationally, looking at the legacy, looking at the infrastructural footprint, looking at the thing where even when we get Ebola, we're able to look back after Ebola and say, this is the opportunity that we had, and this is how we are able to invest in health system strengthening. That question may be a long come up now. And even when we talk about response, we still believe, say, we should be able to talk about opportunity we will get for build on with system. So now, when we record the first case at March 31, we'll not be get treatment centers. We'll get just one 30-bed facility in 34. Today, we don't able to get 13 or over treatment centers with total bed capacity of 820. Now we try for set up labs. McKinney will be set up next week, and plans they now for set up lab in Bo as well. So at the end of the day, are we going to have more ambulances? Are we going to strengthen we triage, with isolation facilities? And this for we, now a very key concern, now a top priority for we. So yes, we try for provide response and address infection and break the chain of transmission, prevent and control. But at the same time, when all of this is done, we should be able to say to the Sierra Leonean people, it was bad that we had coronavirus, but we used the opportunity to make massive interventions in the health system, and as some of the things and that's what they do on the sidelines as well.
So in the past 5 months, we Salon on the battle with the coronavirus. On our way they na the front line for ensure say everything happen as it's supposed to happen for let the virus go stop for spread. When na the particular time we go describe say that situation we will be in terms of the response, well like gonna get fear for say maybe if we not take them things will get out of hands. When have been that same day? Inside the past 5 months?
From my experience, Mabel, and this is what I will advise anybody, for make you come out publicly and say, we'll not get that fear again, you get a lot of things with for inform them. Because if you are not careful, and Mabel will know with people, you get a lot of asymptomatic cases. So even when somebody, then go don't tell somebody, say, based on the swab where they don't take and the analysis, your results come out will be positive. Because you're asymptomatic, the person they say, well, me na mature person, me na responsible person. If I'm sick, I don't know. How do you tell me I have the virus when I not manifest any of the symptoms? So because we get a good number of asymptomatic cases, and because sometimes the case fatality is small, when we get SARS in 2003, the case fatality was 10%. When you get the Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome in 2012, the case fatality was 34%. Now with coronavirus, we global positive cases today, maybe not 22 million, about 14 million recoveries, about 777,000 deaths. So when people they look at the case fatality globally and the recovery globally, and also look at what they happen at Salone, with case fatality is about 3.5. So some man go say, 69 people who don't die, well, not a better thing, make a go about for do my business. So I am always very careful not to say everything is fine now, we should go about our normal business. The moment you say that, you are inviting trouble. So let's maintain it as it is. Let's tell our people that the enemy is still with us, and make we all come together and fight this dangerous enemy.
All right, many thanks for joining the program this morning. Solomon Jamiru, spokesperson for NACOVAC. Now, this edition of the program, Good Morning Salon. Go left on a plenty. Thank you to the production team, Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Kuruma. We produced the program. DJ Ahmad give technical support. Moses Kavura and Franklin Pemagome on our Facebook and YouTube. So till we meet again, Mabel Kabadesi, get yourself a wonderful morning. Goodbye.
And Musa Kamara, they say, not forget for listening to a special Corona update. We also want to support Radio Democracy for bring come to you. And we 7 o'clock news and same way so at 9 waiting the bill. So till we meet again, Musa Kamara.